What does jurisdiction mean in a civil case? And why is Section 9 of the Civil Procedure Code CPC so important? Let us break down the concept of jurisdiction and how Section 9 plays a key role in civil suits. But before we start, if you are not yet subscribed, make sure to subscribe and press the bell icon so that you will be notified whenever I post a new video. In our legal dictionary, jurisdiction simply means the authority of a court to hear and decide a case. For example, let's say I live in Delhi and I go to Mumbai and I commit a crime. The local court in Mumbai where I was caught would certainly have the authority to try me for that crime. In other words, they have jurisdiction over me. Here, the court has territorial jurisdiction. Similarly, if I sue someone for an amount of 1 rupees crore, obviously no court in India would have the authority to entertain my lawsuit because it is beyond their monetary limit. So here the court has pecuniary jurisdiction. Now suppose I file a lawsuit for eviction of tenant. Obviously, a criminal court would not have the authority to try such a matter, so here the court lacks subject matter jurisdiction. In simple terms, if any one of these 3 jurisdictions is missing, the court cannot try the case and it will be dismissed. Now that we know what jurisdiction means, let's try to understand Section 9 of the Civil Procedure Code, Section 9 of CPC. Subject to the provisions of this code, all suits of civil nature, that is to say all suits except those which are expressly or impliedly barred by law, shall be within the jurisdiction of the civil courts. For better understanding, let's break this down. The first part of this section says subject to the provisions of this code. This simply means that this section is not absolute and there are other sections in the same code which may take away the jurisdiction of civil courts. Second, it says all suits of civil nature. This basically means all cases relating to civil disputes. What is a civil dispute? A civil dispute is a non-criminal legal disagreement between 2 or more parties. Some examples of civil disputes are property disputes, contractual disputes, tenancy issues, compensation claims, and so on. If a person files a case for recovery of money from a friend, then it is a civil dispute because it arises out of a transaction or an agreement between 2 individuals. However, if a person files a case asking the court to decide who should lead a temple, then it is not a civil dispute because it does not involve a civil or non-criminal matter. It is purely a religious matter and therefore a civil court has no jurisdiction to try such a case. Similarly, if a person files a case against the government for compensation for an injury caused due to the government's negligence, then also a civil court cannot try this matter because it is expressly barred by law. In such cases, the case should be filed in a special court which has been set up by law to try such matters. For example, under the law, if you want to challenge an order passed by the income tax authorities, you cannot go to a civil court. You will have to go to a tax tribunal which has been specially set up to try such matters. Likewise, if you want to challenge an order of the GST authorities, you have to go to the GST appellate tribunal. This brings us to the second part of Section 9, which says all suits of civil nature except those which are expressly or impliedly barred by law. This simply means that civil courts can try all civil disputes unless a specific law says that such disputes should be tried by some other authority. So when a person files a case in a civil court, the first thing the lawyer does is check the jurisdiction of the court. If the court does not have jurisdiction to try the matter, then the entire trial is a nullity. In a nutshell, jurisdiction is the authority of a court to hear and decide a case. Section 9 of CPC gives civil courts the power to try all civil disputes unless it is expressly or impliedly barred by law. I hope you found this video interesting. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about jurisdiction, and don't forget to subscribe for more such insightful legal videos. See you in the next video. Until then, keep learning,